Now, a lot of you may have been toying with the idea of starting a side hustle. There are different types of side hustles, but the thing that might be holding you back is, what do I even do? How do I know people will pay me money to do this thing? How do I even find the people? And how do I make it work so that I can actually consistently make money on this thing? At least $1,000 a month or more. Hello, Gen X fam, and all those who want to learn from our wisdom. Look, you don't need me to tell you that living in this world is getting exponentially more expensive. Last week I shared with you my smart money management framework, which can help you manage the money you have more efficiently and plan for the future and deal with crises as they come up, such as the one that we're in right now. However, there comes a point where you can only manage so far. Eventually, you need more money. So the question at that point is, how do you get more money coming in? Now, a lot of you may have been toying with the idea of starting a side hustle. There are different types of side hustles, but the thing that might be holding you back is, what do I even do? How do I know people will pay me money to do this thing? How do I even find the people? And how do I make it work so that I can actually consistently make money on this thing? At least $1,000 a month or more. What I'm going to do today is walk you step by step through my Smart Business Finder framework. I'm going to answer those questions for you and show you how you can find, leverage, and start the ideal side hustle that's just right for you. So, without further ado, let's get going. As I said, this is my Smart Business Finder framework. So, I've worked it up so that it's similar to smart money management, but it's just a different kind of smart. Still affecting your money, but now attached to how do you discover your ideal side hustle. So let's get started and I'll walk you through this. The first S stands for your skills and strengths. In other words, what are you naturally good at? What comes easy for you? Now, you may find the answer to this based on your life experience, based on what you currently do for a living, or based on what just makes you happy. Like, do you have a hobby that you run to and it makes your heart sing? Or maybe people just naturally see that you're good at something and they're constantly asking you questions about it. So, some of the questions you might want to ask yourself in this particular situation is, what do people ask me for help with? Another question is, what skills have I already been paid for? In other words, what does your job pay you to do? What have you done one-offs to maybe create extra money in the past that might have been lucrative for you? The next question you might ask yourself is, what comes easy for me that other people struggle with? Yeah, see, you want to find that intersection of your skills, your strengths, and your joys. Those things, when they intersect, that's your ideal side hustle. Now, let's move on to the M. And the M stands for market demand. So, here's the thing. You can do all sorts of stuff and it can bring you joy, but if at the end of the day it doesn't make you a dime, it's really just a hobby at that point. And I have dabbled in hobbies before, so I know what that looks like. So what you need to do is find what are people willing to pay for and what do they want? What do they really want? So some key questions you might want to ask yourself here is, are people already paying for this? Have you seen a demonstrated willingness in the marketplace for a particular product or service that people are already paying for? If that's the case, that's a clue that they will probably pay you for the same thing as long as you can demonstrate a competency in that particular area. The next thing you need to do is drill down into who is the buyer. Now you got to get specific. Who are the particular people paying for this thing? For instance, maybe you're great at baking goodies. Maybe you're great at arranging events. Now let's take the events model, for instance. Who are the people who are paying for this thing? Now, that would probably be engaged couples who are planning a wedding. That would also be parents who are planning graduation parties. Parents are a huge market because they're always planning events for their children. People who celebrate birthdays. People who plan landmark anniversaries like 25 years, 50 years. Those are things that you want to go for. People who are planning corporate events. These are things that you might want to go for. Maybe with your event planning, you might couple that with some sort of gift basket. Maybe you're good at putting those together and you're finding those particular people. I have a client who is tapping into that gift basket market. She's good at sourcing the materials and putting them together in such a way that people are like, ooh, I love this product. I want to order X number for this particular event. And she can custom make them and put them together and make money on them. Is that your particular skill? If so, there is a demand for something like that in the marketplace. You just need to identify who is paying for that particular thing. Now, the next question that you want to ask yourself is, what problem does this solve? Because here's what it comes down to at the end of the day. People are willing to come out of pocket for something when it solves a problem. And that problem could simply be, I'm hungry, right? Maybe you're good at frying up fish. Maybe you're good at baking goods. Maybe you're good at cutting lawns, edging them up, and making bushes look beautiful. Maybe you're good at teaching people how to achieve high scores on college entrance exams. Maybe you're good at teaching people how to present themselves confidently, authentically in the marketplace. So the problem that you're solving in those particular cases vary. The problem in the case of cooking is, I'm hungry. I need a solution for that. Or the next problem might be, I want to plan a special event and I want to wow the people who are attending. I want food that makes them walk away and say, that was delicious. Man, that event will be memorable. The problem is, how do you find the food? The other problem might be, in the case of teaching somebody, how do I learn this skill? And so you solve that problem for them by delivering to them a easy to learn framework that they can take with them and use it to pass a test, to learn a new skill so that they can up level and earn more money or even switch careers. These are great problems. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, what problem does this solve? And the rule, remember, like I said, is if it makes money, it is a marketable side hustle. If it don't make money, honey, it's just a hobby. Now, let's move on to the A. The question, the A stands for accessibility and assets. In other words, how easy is it for you to get this up and running? In the case of somebody who might do photography, maybe you already have a camera. At that point, all you really need to do is let people know that you exist and you can take pictures for them. Beautiful pictures. Just put up demonstrations of work that you've done and let people know that you're available. At that point, it's just a matter of booking sessions with them to find out what they want, and then you take your camera, you show up, and you take the pictures. And with digital pictures these days, you don't even have to buy film. You just need a memory card. In the case of the gardening example that I gave you, maybe you already have a lawnmower. Maybe you already have an edger. When I was married and I did the yard work myself, I had a blower, I had a lawnmower, and I had an edger. Those are the things you need to really get started. So if you already have those things, now you just need to take them to people's homes and do the same beautiful work that you've demonstrated that you can do for yourself, and do it for other people. If people have been coming to you and asking you how you're so good at a particular area because they recognize that you're an authority and skilled at this area, maybe you're good at helping people with budgeting. Maybe you're good at helping people with getting out of debt. Maybe you're good at helping people with relationships. These are things that it doesn't cost a lot of money to lay out of your pocket and start making money with. So, questions that you ask here is, number one, what tools, connections, or platforms do I already have? See, this goes back to what I was demonstrating to you before. The next question is, can I start this with little or no upfront cost? In times past, people would say, well, the only thing you need is business cards. But nowadays, people don't even use business cards. Like, you can get a free digital business card app. You can start a Facebook business page. You can start a LinkedIn page for free. And voila, you're up and running. And you can let the world know that this is what you do and this is how you can help them. The next question is, do I already have access to potential clients? Is there a marketplace out there, a group that you can tap into that you can use to get going? Maybe you've had past business associates. Maybe you've had past social connections, and that group is something that you can tap into to start your business and get it up and running. So remember this, the key thing that we want to keep in mind here is your first dollar needs to come from leverage, not perfection. You're not waiting for everything to be right. All you need to know is, can I easily get this up and running and find my first paying client? That's it. Now, let's move on to the R, revenue potential. So the question is, again, is this just hobby level stuff, or is this something I can really make money from? So we don't just want income at this point, we want meaningful income. And by meaningful income, I mean, can this thing produce me at least $1,000 a month or more? And $1,000 can make a huge difference in so many budgets in this country. What would $1,000 mean to you right now? Would it mean going from just scraping by to profiting, having real margin? Does it go from having margin and being okay to now I can pursue my dream bucket list items? Maybe I can finally get meaningfully out of debt quickly. Maybe I can plan those dream vacations. These are things that $1,000 or more can do for you. So the key questions here is, what can I charge? What are other people charging for these things in the marketplace? And what have people demonstrated that they've paid in the past? Next thing you need to do is do the math. How many clients / sales do I need a month in order to get to the dollar figure that I ultimately want or need in order to make this viable? So what you need to do is you need to come up with your minimum viable product, and you need to determine, what can I charge for it now? How many of those do I need a month to get to where I need to be? Then the next question is this scalable or is it capped? It's capped if it takes time and you are trading time for clients. So for instance, you're working with clients, you only have so many hours in a day, so you know that it's capped because you can only charge by so much and you only have so much time. If it's scalable, that means you can run this up into groups, and at that point, your time is your time, but the number of people you can get into the group is uncapped. So your income now becomes uncapped. Which model do you want? Do you want the personal one-to-one approach where your income is capped because of time constraints? Or do you want that unlimited group income potential? So again, the question is, can this get me to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or more a month? Then it becomes viable. But 1,000 is that mark that you really want to be at from the beginning. The T stands for time management. And the question there is, can I set aside the time? Is it realistic, the time that will be needed to make this work? And am I willing to do it? So, how many hours a week can I realistically count on being able to put towards this? You've got to be honest with yourself about this. That means saying no to things like TV, recreation, sleep even. You can make your living during the day, but as Brian Tracy says, you earn your fortune in the evening. So from 9 to 5 you make your living, but from 5 to 9 you build your fortune. Next question is, does this drain me or energize me? Like, have you picked something in the first step where you identified, this is a passion of mine, I love it, I can do it, and it's going to energize me to do it? The next question is this energizing and exciting enough that I can sustain this for 90 days? Because it's going to take you 90 days of learning, growing, adjusting, bobbing and weaving, learning what doesn't work, learning what does work, and being consistent, because you don't want to be one of those people who's like, I tried it for a week, I talked to my friends and family, and they said no, so it's not going to work. You don't get where you need to be in a week. I can tell you that. You need time put into this, and at minimum, you need to be able to devote at least 90 days into making this work. The question is, can you do this, and are you willing to do this? So now, there you have my Smart Business Finder framework. And just to review, that is S for skills and strengths, M for market demand, A for accessibility and assets, R for revenue potential, and T for time alignment. Now, if you walk your way through each one of these steps, I guarantee you can find the ideal side hustle for you. Now, you might be saying to yourself, all right, that sounds all well and good, but I really would like some help walking through each one of these steps. And if that is something that you desire, I'm happy to announce to you that I am launching a workshop that will take you in graphic detail through each one of these steps. I will show you how to identify your ideal side hustle in these steps. I will walk you through the specific steps that will help you identify where your customers live, how to speak to them, and how to cultivate interest. How do you put yourself forward as an authority? Taking my experience over 10 plus years of building a business, I will show you how you can go from zero to an idea that will generate for you $1,000 or more per month, that can be a real viable side hustle for you, that you could potentially grow into a business that will replace and exceed the current income you have on your job. Because look, the thing is, the truth of the matter is, as we've seen, is employers can lay you off, employers can cut your income. If you're in sales, you know the whole game they play, where as soon as you master the commission package that they have, they figure out a way to cut it and make it even harder to achieve so that they can keep more money in their pocket. I can't tell you how many times I've been through that game in my sales career. Maybe you're at the point right now where you're like, you know what, I go out and I rep other people's products. It's time for me to rep myself and make some real money. I will show you the process that makes that work. I'll show you how to manage your time, how to make it actually fit into the 5 to 9, and then eventually how you turn it into a full-time gig. If you realize that you have cut and you've managed as far as you can go and you need more money, then you need this workshop. So, if you're interested in this workshop, DM me 1K and I will respond to you and give you the deets on how you can get into this workshop and how you can build from having no idea to having something that brings into your pocket $1,000 or more a month. Just remember, DM me 1K and I'll respond to you with the details on how you can get into this special workshop. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you found this beneficial. And if you're one of those TSA workers out there, please take this and use it, because you don't have to be at the mercy of Congress again when it comes to your paycheck. Alright guys, you have a great day. I wish you much profit, and I hope that you use this information to go from where you are now to having huge margin in your life and achieving all your dreams. You have a great day, a fantastic week, and I will see you next time, and I hope to see you soon in my special workshop on how to create the ideal side hustle and go to 1K or more from zero. All right, have a great day. Bye now.